Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to review a Nollywood movie, Penance. This movie starts with this lady waking up at night. She goes to use the toilet, I guess. So from what we can see, let me explain. This review is going to be a spoiler review. This lady wakes up 3:48 a.m. to use the toilet, and from what we can see in the room, I already get that this person is a lawyer because of the 1999 Constitution book on her bedside table. I was like, and that was like the only law book that I could see. But to me, I believe that's not the only way to show that someone is a lawyer. You could have as well showed her wig, her outfit in her wardrobe, right? Because basically every citizen is supposed to have 1999 constitution in their house. I have mine. I don't know where I kept it. And I'm not a lawyer. So I don't know if you get. I just wish there was some other way that it could have been portrayed that this person is a lawyer. The second thing was that there was this magazine on the bed that had her picture in her law outfit. Okay, so that was the second thing. Yes, that I would say was used to show that this person is a lawyer. So she goes to the toilet, and then by the time she comes out, this lady comes to meet her and tells her that she had been SA'd by her boss. Watching that scene, right, I assumed was that the lady who came in to mention that she had been SA'd, I assumed that that lady was like the housekeeper, and the person she was telling was like the madam, like the boss's wife, right? And that she was SA'd by the boss. That was what I assumed. Because why else would someone come into a room at 3:48 a.m. to say that they were SA'd? It's only domestic help that can come into someone's room at that time. I don't know if you get it. So I'm coming back to all these points that I'm making. I'll come back to it later. So that's how that scene ends. Okay, yes, and then another thing about this scene that I didn't like, right? The way the sound was going, right? It had horror movie feel. So in particular when the lady who was coming to say that she was SA'd, the way she came in, it even frightened the woman in the room, right? So I had already assumed at this point that okay, I'm going to watch a horror movie. But it didn't turn out to be horror at the end of the day. So I'm wondering why the premise has started that way. So the next thing, we see this white woman driving through the streets of London. She receives a call and she meets up with the person who calls her. And she's complaining to the person about her husband. Her husband has been cheating so much, she can't stand it anymore. In fact, according to her, she came to the UK on holiday with the children. The husband doesn't have time to go with them on the holiday as well. So it was just basically, the woman's name is Susan. So it was just basically Susan just ranting about how she's tired about her marriage to someone that I'm guessing is her husband's friend. I'm guessing it's her husband's friend, right? All these things are not said literally. I'm the one just putting it together. So that's the next thing. We are shown the lady who had already reported, who had said that she was SA'd, right? That she was brought to the police station by the woman who she reported to. So from that conversation now, we see that the lady who was SA'd is Alice, and the woman that she told is her elder sister, right? So they come to the police station and come to report the case. And the officer that was there was just, Nigerian police just acting somehow. He was like, is she going to write the statement or should he write it for her? And the elder sister was like, won't you even hear what she has to say? He just said it didn't matter, just write the statement, whatnot. Later on, this officer tells us that he's not an officer, he's a Detective Festus. Now, from this first scene that we see Detective Festus, right? The first time, when I first of all watched it, he was eating something, right? So the way the thing looked to me, it looked like garden egg. But it was later on I discovered that it was an apple. So from this first scene till the end of this movie, Detective Festus was always eating an apple. I was wondering what the significance of that was. Why was he eating so much apples? Like, couldn't he have eaten something else? Was there like a digestive problem that he had? I just wished it was explained because what I thought when Detective Festus was just eating these apples, I was like, okay, he's probably trying to get pregnant. It's when women are trying to get pregnant, you eat a lot of apples, especially if you want to have a boy. So maybe he's trying to get pregnant with a boy. Maybe that was what caused the eating of so many apples. So Alice decides to write the statement herself. Detective Festus gives them privacy for Alice to write the statement. So when Detective Festus comes back, he reads Alice's statement, and she writes it there that her boss has harassed her previously before this incident, and then he asks her why she didn't report it before. Was she probably enjoying it before, and then it was this one that she didn't. That usual line of questioning from the police, right? Alice was just trying to defend herself and so. This detective asks the funniest question.
What were you wearing on the day of the incident?
My CDS outfit.
Tight, seductive?
And CDS now is a core member outfit, core member uniform that they wear. Detective Festus then asks if the CDS outfit was tight and seductive. And I was wondering, like, how does this person not know what CDS outfit is? Or is it that he knows what CDS outfit is and he's asking if hers is tight and I don't understand. How can you even ask if a CDS outfit is tight and seductive? Like, I just felt like that question was not necessary at that point. in the dialogue. Let's think about it deeply. Like, why would you ask such anyway? So that one came as a shock. I was really surprised because I wasn't even expecting such a question to come up when she had answered that it was CDS out. Alice also stated that she was a virgin, and so her boss had forced himself on her, and then we know what happens, right? So the officer was asking her if she's in a relationship, and she said yes. He asked how long. She said like a year. And the officer was trying to like point it out that it's not possible that she's a virgin, being that she's in a relationship and whatnot. This just unnecessary questions anyway. So I didn't have an issue with this particular question that the officer, because it's something that can be asked. So the detective says that he'll send Alice to the hospital so that they can run tests on her. And if the tests come back positive that she was actually raped, SH, then he'd consider her case to pursue it, right? When I watched this part, I was like, is being that her elder sister is guiding her on what to do, right? Did the elder sister not know that you go to the hospital first? Like in a case that something like that happens, you go to the hospital first before going to the police station. From what I recall, right, she had reported to her senior sister by 3:48. And I'm assuming this time that the police station should probably be like 9:10. So did they have their bath? Because if she should have her bath, then she should have washed off some of the evidence, right? That place was just off for me. So we go back to Susan and the husband's friend. They chat late into the night. They have this glass of wine. Susan's husband then calls his friend and they are discussing business. So Susan is married to Majekudumi, right? So Majekudumi is still in Lagos. And because this is his friend, they're having discussion about business.
Mr. Majekudumi himself. I'm also still waiting for your report as regards the board meeting.
Yes, I know. The board should actually convene next week for the pitch.
All right. Then I guess that buys us ample time to do the needful. I'll just do a little tweak here and there with the blueprint and then send it through as soon as possible. Is that fine?
No. We can't afford any slip-ups.
Great. I just hope that after this round, we don't get to face that whole political gimmicks that they play and the bureaucracy with this bid.
Oh, no. I mean, we will win the bid. I promise you.
You sound quite sure.
Oh, yes. That's just the first step.
So I met with the engineers from Qatar like you requested. And, they showed real commitment to wanting to work with our guys from this side.
Thank you, my dear. Yes. Well, we discussed it last week.
We may have to bring in their own architects who worked on the model project for consultancy,
At what cost?
I can't say for sure, but these guys don't play with their pen levels.
As well, there's always a cost implication.
Cool, then. Sounds great. You know what? I'll ask them to send us their proposal so that we can look into how it fits into our physical budget for the year. After which, and maybe here and there, the tweaks that I spoke to you about. Let's see how forward we can go with this. Fair enough?
Absolutely. Look, let me take you through the whole rigmarole of the operation as we sit. I mean, I have the business partners coming in today, and then we'll...
This particular dialogue that's having with his friend on the phone, it sounded like both of them were just talking about different things, right? Because the friend was talking about contractors from Dubai. He was talking about sale of land. It just did not flow. It sounded like they were talking to two different people, and these were two different discussions happening at the same time. So I was really confused at that part. And honestly speaking, I listened to that discussion like 2-3 times, and I could not guess the exact thing that Majekudumi does for a living. I was so confused. In fact, throughout the whole movie, I was so confused because I wanted to really know what he was doing. What was his job? What was he into? I was confused. There are sometimes he uses that I guess, okay, this person is an architect. And then there are sometimes he'd sound like a civil engineer. And then there are some other times that he'd use, he sound like a realtor, like someone who is into the sale of land. Like, which is it? Till this movie finished, I do not know what this person does exactly. Does he do either of these three, or does he do the three at once? I was so confused. The police come in to see Majekudumi, that's in Lagos, and they invite him over to the police station, telling him that some allegations have been leveled against him and whatnot. So, in that scene, before Detective Festus leaves, he tells Majekudumi's PA to help him to discard the remains of the apple he had just finished eating. We are seriously seeking that pregnancy, right? So he tells her to help him discard that apple, the remaining part of it. And when he was giving the PA the leftover, he noticed a button on the floor. We are going to come back to that. And then he invites Majekudumi to the station, and Majekudumi follows him. Right at the station, Detective Festus tells Majekudumi about Alice and the allegation that she has leveled against him. And he admits, Majekudumi admits that yes, Alice works in his office, but he doesn't even really know what she does because HR is in charge of hiring people. So, like he said, he must have met her once or twice, but he doesn't really know anything about her. Festus tells him that after the tests Alice conducted in the hospital, he came out positive, and he showed that there was forceful entry, and Alice says that he's the one that did it. And Majekudumi explains that Alice is probably an opportunist who is just cooking up the story to make money out of him. So Majekudumi explains that he couldn't have done anything to this young lady because she is his daughter's age mate. And Detective Festus says that he doesn't recall telling Majekudumi about this girl's age. So how did he know? And then I guess that's when Majekudumi notices that he's beginning to slip up. And he says, okay, he's not going to say anything until his lawyer gets there. And Festus was like acting really happy that his lawyer is going to come. I don't know why. But the lawyer comes anyway comes to meet them there. The lawyer's name is Bobby. And what can I say about the character Bobby? This lawyer is really, really cool-headed. From this person who portrayed Bobby, he's cool-headed. You can see that he's a gentleman and stuff. And it's somehow, having a gentleman to represent you as your lawyer in such a case, we already know where that's going, right? But anyway, that's how they portray it in this film. Like, I was expecting someone who looks more ruthless, right, to be the lawyer. But this person is a gentleman, quiet guy. He didn't even say much throughout the movie. So when Bobby comes in, right, the detective asks Bobby what perfume he's wearing. And Bobby is asking why he wants to know that, as he cannot see the relevance of that concerning the case. And the detective says, oh, he has this very strong sense of smell, and he picks up scents easily, and he can even smell guilt from afar. Was that necessary? Because later on in the movie, I don't see how this detective's sense of smell comes into play. He doesn't even use his sense of smell for anything. So I'm wondering why that line was there. Detective Festus also mentions another shocking thing. He says that in his line of work, he has come to realize that innocent people never call for a lawyer. Are you being serious? Like, where is that coming from? I was also confused. Why would you say innocent people never call for a lawyer? Like, so I don't know if you are fully, like, I don't understand what's prompting that kind of statement. Of course, when there's a case, both parties have to have a lawyer, innocent or not. It sounded like this person it sounded like Detective Festus has never solved a case in his life, and he has never been to court, he has never had anything to do with any legal issues for him to make that statement. And I'm so surprised that this statement came up in this movie. Festus then tells Majekodunmi to, write down his statements, and he gives him this line. Like, honestly, the lines in this movie, they are so confusing. He tells Majekodunmi, right, that he advised Majekodunmi to listen to his footsteps when he's walking away, because the next time Majekodunmi is going to hear his footsteps is going to be when he's coming to arrest him. But I kid you not, Festus met Majekodunmi more than 2 times after this, and he didn't go to arrest him. So, like, why was that line put in? Like, the major problem I had with this movie, right, was the dialogue. Some of these statements were not necessary. Some of the statements were misplaced. I'm going to explain further. Like, and it's so painful, like, because the cast was very, very good. I really liked everybody that acted this movie, but it was so painful to see that they've given them such scripts with some of these lines that really don't make any sense. It was really, really painful for me. So after writing down the statement, right, by Majekodunmi and his lawyer, they go back to his office where they are discussing this new issue. And Majekodunmi gets this bottle of gin, I think. Is alcohol anyway. I don't know which one. And I'm sorry, I have to mention this here. I've noticed that pattern in Nigerian movies where the boss always has some sort of alcohol in his office and he drinks during office hours. Like, is this how it is in real life? I don't know. All the offices I've worked in, there is no alcohol, right? Why would there be alcohol in your office when you have something serious to do? So I don't know if producers, movie producers, like, or directors or whoever is in charge of that, can they just please just cut that out? I'm not expecting alcohol to be in an office, right? We don't want alcoholics handling our jobs. Isn't that so? And if you go to Nigerian offices, you don't see alcohol. If there's alcohol there, then it's probably hidden. But in the movies, alcohol is just always flowing. You see the boss having this serious meeting and he's drinking alcohol in front of his staff. Like, it's not done. It's not done, please. I just like Nigerian movies to correct this. Just stating this here. So they are discussing the case, and Bobby is asking Majekodunmi to tell him everything that really happened, so he can know how to go about defending Majekodunmi rights. So it's here that Majekodunmi mentions the instances where he met Alice, and he states 2 instances. Like, the first time that she got employed to his place of work, he met her that day, and some other time. And the lawyer assures him, right, that most cases like that just end up in settlement. So Majekodunmi doesn't need to worry about it. So we got to Alice in her house, telling her elder sister exactly what happened that day. She was at the office. She just come back from CDS. Her group was into traffic control, right? So she just come back late, and there was already work piled up for her. And her office bestie, Blessing, was just having a discussion with her and all that. And in that flashback, we see that Blessing notices that Alice had bandaged one of her fingers, and she asked what happened. And Alice said she cut herself while cooking the night before. So Majekodunmi's PA comes to give Alice this note stating that the boss, Majekodunmi, wanted to see her in his office. Alice was asking why he wanted to see her, and the PA said she didn't know, right? And all this occurred in front of Blessing, right? So Blessing and the PA both leave, and then Alice goes to the door of the office. That's where this flashback stops. After this scene, we then go to the scene where Alice is telling this same story to Detective Festus, right? And after saying it, Detective Festus then asks who can corroborate her story, who was there to see her going into the office and going out. She mentions Blessing, she mentions the PA as well. So from there, we see Detective Festus saying the same thing to Majekodunmi. This is after Alice has left. So he was stating the same thing. So and so is what Alice said. What can you say? And then Majagudmi then gets angry, because he keeps saying it that this lady is just trying to frame him up. Everything she's saying is a lie, and then he gets to use the word, I don't want to mention it, F-U-C-K. He kept using it in different forms in everything that he was saying. And the Detective Festus then says, okay, that's a lot of F-U-C-K is in your speech, right?
Look, I don't know where all of this is going or where it's coming from, okay? All I'm telling you is that I did not even for her. I didn't tell Sonia to give her a note. I didn't send her to with instructions to do anything. I don't even have any reason to be with her in the first place. I don't know where the going, okay?
Well, that was a lot.
He then jots down something. And then I'm like, if you're really a professional, what I thought was like, if you're really a professional, right, the fact that he's shouting F-U-C-Ks doesn't really make any difference. This is a swear word that just comes easily with so many people. I don't know why he wants to pick that out as what, evidence or what. Bobby then begs Festus to excuse them. He would like to talk to his clients. And they go out, they have this discussion. Majagudmi then tells Bobby that, he remembers like 2 years ago, there was a similar case. Another lady had also tried to frame him for essaying her, and then he explains that he actually had an affair with that lady. It's not like as if it was forceful or anything, and she tried to frame him, and they were able to settle it. And Bobby was like, why didn't he state that? Why didn't he let him know? And he explained that Bobby wasn't yet his lawyer then. And if Bobby wasn't his lawyer then, it was a different lawyer who helped him to solve that case. So why did he not employ that particular lawyer? Like, is it that lawyer? It should have just been stated what happened to the previous lawyer who helped him with that other case. Of course, it's a no-brainer. It's the same lawyer that should help him with this case, right? Because honestly, Bobby looks confused and lost, and he doesn't really know what to do. From what I observe, anyway, that's my own opinion. So I would really wish that part was explained so we know what happened to the previous lawyer and why he can't handle this case. Alice's elder sister, we later see Alice's elder sister stays with her colleague. So she stays with her partner is Muzinat. And I keep saying Alice's elder sister because I didn't catch her name in the whole movie. I watched the movie like twice now. I still didn't catch her name. I don't know, maybe it's just me who didn't get it because I was just focused on the storyline, right? But I didn't catch her name, so I keep using Alice's senior sister. So Alice's senior sister stays in the same house with Muzinat, her partner, and stays with Alice, who is her sister, right? So Alice's elder sister and Muzinat are discussing a different case that they have about the son of a minister or something. That case too, I do not understand because it wasn't properly explained. So I have no idea. I just know they were just throwing the words minister's son around, minister's son. And I didn't get what the minister's son did, that he'd need legal representation. I really wish it was explained. Alongside, they're also talking about Alice as well. So that scene ends with Alice's elder sister talking to the doctor on the phone, saying she'll be there. Make sure I bring her before I go to work. So I'm assuming she's talking about Alice, but the scene of going to the doctor is never shown. So I don't know what that is about, and I'm wondering why it was even put in this movie. We then move to Detective Festus asking the receptionist at Majekudumi's office for Blessing because he's planning to have an interview with Blessing. Being that Alice has mentioned Blessing in her statement, right? So he calls Blessing aside, he gives her an interview, and then Majekudumi's PA intervene Blessing, and she calls Majekudumi immediately. He runs back to challenge Detective Festus and asking why he's interviewing his staff and harassing his staff, and the detective just brushes it off like, I've gotten what I need. So, sorry, the office friend is Rebecca, not Blessing. I'm so sorry about that. It's Rebecca. I'll try to make corrections. Alice goes to see a therapist, and the therapist is trying to walk her through her trauma, trying to make her heal. And what will I say about this therapist? This therapist is wearing eyeglasses. And that's another thing with movies. I don't want to say it's just Nigerian movies. Movies generally, when they want to show someone as a therapist, they make the person wear eyeglasses. And I'm wondering why. There's this belief people have that people who wear glasses are intelligent, but is that really the case? It's just something that we just cooked up and we believe like it's true, but it's not. Eyeglasses, right? People who use eyeglasses just have eye problems. I too use eyeglasses, but you don't see me wearing it here during the review. But like when I want to read or see stuff from far, I have to wear eyeglasses. So I'm just using this one to explain like there's no need for a therapist to wear eyeglasses, honestly speaking. Just let them out to their normal eyes. And there's no need for us to keep saying it's intelligent people that wear glasses. That's not always the case. It's while Alice is telling the therapist what happens, right, that we see the story to the end, Alice's version of the story to the end. So when Alice got to the office, she came in, and Majekudumi, she sat. He told her to sit in this chair, in one of the chairs there. She sat, and then that was where Majekudumi to sat with her on the same chair. And it was in that chair that the incidents occurred, right? And so the scene, while showing the scene, while Majekudumi was doing whatever he was doing, right? They showed the effigy. There was a statue of this little angel girl. The way the statue was set, it was set in such a way that the statue was watching what was going on. So that's what we showed before everything. had finished, right? So I'm wondering why the statue was placed there, because it doesn't come up again. That's just about it. We just showed it, and the camera really focused on this statue. I was expecting that this statue would later maybe be like an evidence or come up in the story later, but it didn't, and I'm wondering why that happened. You know, and then after that, he got up, right? Magic Kudumi got up, and the camera then shows us Alice from her legs up. There was blood stain. Of course, there should be. But the position of the blood stain was what I didn't understand. It was on her shirt in the front, and I'm wondering why the blood stain is in the front and not at the back. If you know what I mean, I don't want to really express everything here. So Magic Kudumi says he took her virginity and she took his buttons. I think that Magic Kudumi is beginning to get scared from the things I saying, and he's afraid that Festus is investigating thoroughly, and his fears that Festus is going to, uncover the previous case with the previous lady that he had 2 years ago. That just tells him to calm down, let Festus do his job. If he really didn't do anything, then there's nothing to hide, and stuff like that. And then the lawyer then comes up with this idea that there's a way he can turn this thing around in their favor, right? And he just tells Magic Kudumi not to worry, he's going to handle it. So the next thing, we have Festus in the police station, I'm guessing, and he's looking at this board, pictures of different women on the board, right? And there are some sticky notes on it. And I would say, from looking at the board, I didn't understand anything. From that board, I didn't even see Alice's picture. It was only Magic Kudumi's picture that I saw. Then the picture of different ladies who do not appear in the movie. So I was quite confused. Then the sticky notes, I didn't understand. There was this one sticky note had college written on it, and another sticky note had the Beji project. And I'm very, very confused. Like, the Beji project, how? Where? What does that mean? Where is it coming from? I never heard it all through the movie. Until the movie ended, I never heard any mention of Ibeji project. So I'm wondering why it's on that board to start with. And then this officer comes in and he's asking Festus why Festus is so invested in this case. And Festus says something, yet another thing that shocks me.
If only you knew what it is to have your sister raped.
And I'm confused because if Festus had had a sister that was raped, right? Why was he asking all those silly questions in the beginning while he was interviewing Alice? Like, oh, the CDS outfit, is it seductive? Is it, oh, were you enjoying it before now? Why didn't you report it before? With the first time he started, is that a question that someone who has a sister that has experienced such, is that a question that he'd be asking? So I was so confused by that statement. I don't know where it was coming from. In fact, it felt like as if it was not the same Festus I was watching from the beginning of the movie. It felt like it was some other Festus that was talking here. So Muzinat and Alice's elder sister are working on Alice's case, right? They too are digging up for evidence that they can use against Magic Kudumi, right? And when I started watching that scene, right, I actually thought, because Alice was in the living room watching TV, Muzinat and her elder sister were in the dining room, discussing. And like the distance from the dining room to the living room is not too much. You understand those kind of houses, right? So the way Alice's elder sister and Muzinat were discussing, it was just normal volume, like normal decibels. Their discussion was just normal, like the way I'm talking now, that you can hear me clearly. And then when Alice turns and tells her sister their favorite program is about to start, the sister then says, oh, don't worry, just keep watching it. I'll join you later. And Alice says, please don't ask me for what you've missed, right? And Alice turns back to watch the TV. And then I can see this elder sister then crouching towards Muzinat and Muzinat going closer to her. And they are still talking. It gives me this feeling like they were whispering, right? But from the way the volume was set, it didn't sound like whisper. It sounded like normal conversation. So, if it's normal conversation, then why would somebody be moving close? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Moving close, like. But nothing was wrong with the volume. When I was listening to it, it was just normal. The regular volume that was being used all through the movie was also being used in this scene. So, were they whispering or were they having a discussion? Honestly, that part, I didn't get it. I guess they're trying to whisper, but they failed at it anyway. And it's so sad and painful. Why they feel at whispering? Okay, so after that, Alice's elder sister receives a call from Bobby for a private meeting. So she honors the invitation, she goes there. Then Bobby insinuates that her sister is trying to get money out of Magic Kudumi, right? And then he gives her this envelope of cases of previous women who have tried to do the same thing, and then they decide to settle the issue out of court. So we were just trying to tell her that, this is what your sister is trying to do, and other women have done the same as well. So she should just, whatever I was trying to say. because he didn't expressly say that she should mention her price, but like he just showed her proof of other women who have done something similar. And I thought to myself, is that a smart move that a lawyer should make? Giving hard copy evidence to the other side, to your opponent, like how is it making any sense? That one confused me as well. But Alice's elder sister, takes the envelope and she goes back home. And as she leaves, right, Bobby then calls someone and says the person should put the plan in action, whatever that is. Alice then goes back home. She meets Muzinat, and Muzinat sees this post online that we do not see. It's not shown to us. And then she shows it to Alice's elder sister. And Alice's elder sister goes to look for Alice, and they see Alice had slit her hand in her room upstairs. Till this movie ended, right, we do not see the post. We don't even have an idea. I don't even know if it's a post or a picture or whatnot. It's not shown. We're just supposed to get the sense that it's something embarrassing and something that can push Alice to suicide, right? So I don't know why we're not shown. So Bobby and his clients are in a bar or club. They're in a club, right? They're discussing the case, and Bobby is telling Maja Kudumi not to worry, that Alice is going to face the same kind of disgrace that she tried to give Maja Kudumi. And Maja Kudumi states that it doesn't help him because this issue is now out there in the public, right? And it's in this thing that Maja Kudumi then tells his own side of the story of what happened on that fateful day. And the way he explains it, it was Alice who brought herself to his office. He didn't ask for her, she came. And she made advances at him, and when he wanted to respond, she stopped him, right? And she left. So he's wondering why she'd then cook up the story that he'd done something with her, right? Alice's elder sister comes back from the hospital, I suppose, and she's crying her eyes out because of what Alice had just tried to do to herself. And then Detective Festus then comes in, and yet again, he's confusing me by his line of questioning. Asking questions like, it was Alice who had tried to throw herself at Maja Kudumi. Like, at this point, I'm like, what side are you on? Like, what exactly are you doing? This is Alice's elder sister off, and she's crying, and she's telling him, like, he doesn't know what she has been through. She had to clean her sister's blood off the floor, and somehow that statement makes Detective Festus to realize something. And he says, oh, she has given him an idea, if that situation had occurred, there'd probably be blood. Blood cannot be completely cleaned off, whatnot. He was just talking all this detective stuff, and he leaves the place, to go to investigate this new idea or new lead that he has. The next thing shows Susan, trying to call this person, and the call is not going through. At the end, right, Susan gets directed to voicemail, and then we see Maja Kudumi in the office, right? His phone rings, and he picks up the phone. It's that landline that was used in those days, so he picks it up.
Mailbox number 06038065665.
Meaning that he has picked up the call. Those of us that use landline, we know how these things work. So meaning that the call is still going on. But on Susan's side, she's talking to voicemail. And I'm wondering what is going on. Like, if you pick the call in Lagos, you are supposed to just say what you want to say. The only issue is that he won't hear what she's saying, right? And then I don't know why Maja Kudumi will do such a thing. You are somebody that's in charge of a company, and you should already have business etiquette. Why would you pick up the phone? Why would you pick up the receiver and then put it on the table? Like, what does that even mean? If you know you're not ready to answer the call, you will direct the call somewhere else to your PA. Isn't that so? But whatever, Susan is talking to the voicemail, and she's talking about how he had disgraced her on social media. The whole world now knows what he truly is, and she's tired of the marriage and whatnot. She wants to leave, whatever. Whereas Maja Kudumi is in the office talking to a prospective client that wants to buy land, and he had already said how much. Like I said earlier, I still don't know what this guy does. Does he sell land? Is he an architect? Whatnot? Is he a contractor? I have no idea. Detective Festus and some lab guys come in, and they tell him that they want to check the office. So they make Detective Festus and the client leave, right? And then they search around the office, and to my surprise, the button that Detective Festus found, the button that he found the first time he was in Maja Kudumi's office, that button is still there in that position. This is after how many days now? So what I thought to myself when I saw that scene was that Maja Kudumi should have fired the cleaners and hired people who are serious with their job. Because I don't understand how a button will be in his office for more than 3-4 days, for up to a week. Is it that office was never swept? They checked the chair that the incident, the crime happened, right? And then they find traces of blood there. I don't know if I saw that part very well, but I had to watch it 2 times.
I think I found something here.
Bingo. Bingo. Cut.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Traces of blood was found on the chair. I see the lab guy picking up something to put in a ziplock, and I'm wondering, is it the blood? Can you pick up blood like an object? I was confused. Like, I don't like when I watch movies and I'm confused, and I literally need the person who made this movie to come and start explain to dumb it down for me. I don't usually like that kind of stuff. But anyway, this guy picked up solid blood and put it in the ziploc. Majekudumi gets arrested, and his lawyer comes to see him there. And like I said earlier, the lawyer is clueless as always. The lawyer is giving him false hope. From even I that is watching the movie, I know that this is false hope. There's nothing the lawyer can do at this point. So he's arrested, right? Now, we never see the court case. The case is never taken to court, so we don't see how it's argued or whatnot. Or we just see that Majekudumi is now arrested in like proper prison. We don't even know which one, if it's Kirikiri or which one. I don't know. It's in proper prison, right? We don't know his sentence. We don't know how long he's going to be there. It wasn't stated. Once again, we see Alice in the therapist's office, and she says she would like to see Majekudumi in prison, right? Because she wants to ask him why he did that to her. The therapist then says, by her, do you mean me? Like, do you mean you want to ask him why he did that to me? Then she says, yes, I want to ask him why he did that to me. Then I was just like, what is this? Is this supposed to be a plot twist or what? I don't get it. But anyway, she goes to see Majekudumi in prison, and it's from their conversation that we hear that Majekudumi has been sentenced to 15 years, right? So then that's where the plot twist comes, whatever. I don't want to, let me just say that. I don't want to reveal that part of it. But after the plot twist is revealed, Alice goes to her elder sister's car. They drive off the end of the movie. And I promise not to reveal the plot twist. But anyway, while she was planning it, let me just say this one. While she was planning it, right, the funniest thing that I noticed in this movie, the part where she cut her hand, when her sister Muzina came to see her in the room, and they saw that she cut her hand and she fainted, right? So they show us what had happened. Like, we see that she didn't really cut herself, and I'm wondering how that can fly in reality. How will someone lie down there and use household items to fake cutting their own hand? How possible is that? And so it showed that actually blood from her monthly, I don't want to say something that's going to be disgusting, from her monthly cycle, monthly period, from men's, like that was the blood that she used to disguise or to fake that she had cut herself. And I'm like, how is that possible? It's not possible. Like, normal blood from the body is quite different from that kind of blood, right? Just like hair on the body is different. Like the hair that you have on your arms now is going to be different from the hair on your head. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So how did that fly? Like, the movie could have been more than what it is, but there were so much loopholes. Anyway, the movie ends when she drives away with her elder sister, right? And I was just so desperate to see who wrote this story. Who wrote this story? And I saw that the person that wrote the story is a guy. And then I understood. I said, okay, maybe that's why I'm noticing all these loopholes here. Some of these things, like if you're a lady and you're writing this story for a lady, you won't make such mistakes. So I'll forgive the person who have written this movie because of that. Overall, what I say about this movie, the movie dragged a lot. The movie was 1 hour 45 minutes thereabout. It could have been shorter. Some things were unnecessarily prolonged. Like a scene where probably someone is driving their car. They drive their car far too long. You didn't need to show me their driving skills. I didn't need to see that. What else again am I going to say? Some scenes are quite confusing. I don't get it. And then yes, even after the last scene, right? Then we have the cast, the crew, their names are being shown and whatnot. What's that thing I call it? Is it the epilogue now of this movie? There's this scene that's attached. That's after we've seen whatever who wrote the movie and epilogue. Let me just call it epilogue. It's called epilogues in books. Let me just call it that here. So we have this scene where Detective Festus is wrapping up the case, like all those materials we saw on the board. He's collecting everything together. And I still was more confused than even before I watched the movie because the pictures of so many girls, the pictures of so many ladies there, they didn't appear in the movie. And still in this scene, after the movie has ended, I still did not recognize any of them. Only Alice and only Majekudumi. I don't recognize the remaining ladies. And then what's with the sticker that has Ibeji Project? What is Ibeji Project? I don't get it. Then we also see the other stickers. One sticker has text written on it. One sticker has ring written on it. One sticker has college written on it. And it's not adding up. None of it is adding up. Then there are some documents, A4 paper documents. And from what I was seeing, I didn't even want to bother myself to zoom whatever was there. But from afar, it looked like photocopies of pages from an economics textbook. I still was more confused than when I started the movie. The only thing I'll say I like about this movie is that, there are two things I like about this movie anyway. Everybody acted it well. That's what I'll say. They all acted it well. Even though some people were cast wrongly, but everybody acted it well. And I'd say I like that their natural face was showed. The Alice especially, she had makeup on, right, but you could still see the natural, like the pimples and the balls and the stuff. Sometimes I like seeing that in movie to show that we are natural beings. Your face doesn't have to always be beat up every time. So those are the two things I liked. Other than that, it was disappointing. So that's my review about this movie. See you in the next one. Bye.